Hello everyone, this is Attlas coming to you on September 11th, 2015. This is not our first video on our YouTube channel, but it will be the first video of this kind. As you probably are very aware, YouTube is inundated with talking head videos, people expounding their views and opinions on all sorts of matters, every subject under the sun, and certainly those subjects which are very topical in the news, in the media, on television and movies, and everyone seems to have an opinion on these things. Whether it's conspiracy or what's happening in politics, gender issues, political issues, race issues, you name it, everybody seems to have an opinion on everything nowadays. Our videos are not going to be like that. We're not here to share an opinion. We're here to try as best we can reveal the facts. And by facts, we're not referring to the superficial, material, physical type of empirical fact. That's not what we're about. What we're here to try to expose you to is a deeper level of appreciation of reality, a form of conscious connection with the facts through yourself, through your own intuition. So as you're watching this video and listening to us speak, it's important to try as best you can to receive information in an objective way. Even though none of us are conditioned to do so, none of us are trained to do so in the West, especially with our educational system, being analytical, being logical, rationalizing, and trying to figure out with our head whether or not what somebody is saying to us is that way. We're looking for the evidence, we're naysaying, we have all these contradictory things going on in our head. We're trying to understand where they're coming from, but we're also judging it against our own views. And as much as possible, it's important for us to try to be able to receive information in an objective way. And the liberal intellectuals will tell you that's impossible, but that's because they're all in their head, and the ego mind is subjective mind. So, of course, somebody who's in their subjective mind will tell you that's all that there is. That's all that there is subjectivity. And all knowledge comes down to this subjective opinion. But that's a lie. Just as sure as the sun is shining, and just as sure as day becomes night, and rain falls from the sky, and the seasons change, and all of these other facts which we experience each and every day, there is an objective reality. The mind doesn't want us to believe that because the mind wants us living in its prison, in its subjectivity. We become subject to that. We become the subjects. One of the things that you'll appreciate on our channel and in our blogs on atlas.info is the careful attention we pay to language. Words have power and words have meaning. And we don't use words frivolously, we don't use words superfluously. We mean what we say, and we say what we mean. But at the same time, we will use language figuratively, symbolically, allegorically, so that through the symbol, you might connect with the eternal, timeless, objective truth, which cannot be expressed precisely and exactly with language. That's what figurative language, poetic language is all about. Not an attempt at literally, exactly, precisely, perfectly expressing absolute truth, because that's impossible. But alluding to it, presenting an expression of it which captures the essence of that truth and communicates the essence of reality, which cannot be put into words, which cannot be understood in the ego mind, with this primitive ego intellect of ours, the monkey mind, cannot understand ultimate reality. But the consciousness brings us much closer to an experience of that truth. Not ego, not what we think, certainly not our opinions and beliefs. So, here we are on September 11th, 2015. Why this date of all dates would I start this channel and announce my Patreon campaign? Well, it's because of the significance of those numbers. Today is 9/11/9. When we look at the year 2016, we look at the numbers 2016. Reduced Kabbalistically, that adds up to the number 9. So when we put those numbers together, we get 9119. This is very significant. Here we see in the 11 a symbol of the two towers. But not just the two towers, but also the two pillars. The pillars of Jachin and Boaz of the Tree of Life. Now, of course, just before we get into it, there are plenty of videos about 9/11. The internet has been inundated with videos and memes and articles and blogs, and not just videos, but full-blown documentaries and countless conspiracy theories. And we're not here to discuss or argue or put forth who did what to whom, who planned it, who knew, who didn't know, what they did, how they did it, were there planes, were there not planes, were there demolitions, were there not demolitions, none of that stuff. What we are going to do is talk about the effects. And there is a video out there, like there's many videos, and there's been stuff on CNN and television talking about the effects of 9/11, how people are still living with those effects. And there have been a few videos online discussing 9/11 as a ritual of black magic, and how the symbols and the numerology embodied in the World Trade Center building and on the date of 9/11, 2001, how it all comes together and was casting this massive spell, this brainwashing spell over the planet. And a lot of those videos are hitting on some pretty important points that we'll discuss. When we consider 9/11, let's first look at the number 9. 9 on the Tree of Life, the ninth sphere, or the ninth Sephiroth, is referred to as Yesod, the vital energy, the body of Chi, the body of Prana, the sexual force. To be a 9 on the Tree of Life in Kabbalah is to be an upright 9 in each of our three brains, our mind, our heart, and our physical body. To be a 9 is to be one step away from being a perfect 10. 9 is 3 times 3, the creative force, the creative law of 3, multiplied 3 times. So in other words, positive, negative, and neutral forces in our mind, in our heart, and in our body. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 then, an upright human being, facing upwards, inching upwards on the Tree of Life, closer to that perfection, closer to that perfect 10. Obviously, the inversion of 9 is 6. To be the opposite or inversion of 9 in our three brains, our heart, our mind, and our body, we become 6, 6, 6. So when we are going upwards, when the towers are being built or being erected, we are bright 9s. But when the towers are being torn down, when they're going in the opposite direction, as they did on that fateful day in 2001, the 9s become 6s. They become inverted. They're going in the wrong direction, or at least they're going in the direction that our egos want them to go. Of course, 11, 1, 1 are the two towers, but they're also the two pillars on the Tree of Life. And then there's World Trade Center 7. It's very interesting that World Trade Center 7 also collapsed, being that nothing hit it. And the explanation for this, the official explanation anyway, was that the beams gave way due to fire. Now again, not going into all the conspiracy stuff, everybody has covered this a million times, a million different ways online. What's important here is the symbology. 7 represents the 7 chakras, and the fire that reportedly, supposedly brought that building down is symbolic of, again, the sexual force, the fires of Kundalini. But here the fires, like with the two towers, are an inverted 9. They are a 6. They are bringing down the 7 chakras, not raising them up. The fires of Kundalini are not raising up World Trade Center 7. No, they're tearing it down, according to the official explanation. And by the way, that official explanation is what most Americans and most people around the world eventually swallowed, one way or another, is that, well, fire brought down World Trade Center 7. Fire brought down that building. So conspiracy or not conspiracy, what these symbols are, what that event was the tearing down of the upright human being, and tearing them down into what? Into 666, which of course is...
We will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
Now, of course, the people looking at that going, oh, well, it's demons, it's this, it's black magicians, it's all that sort of stuff. And yes, they're all behind it. But the point is they're not trying to impose something on us from outside of us. They're using that event outside of us as a trigger for what's already inside of us to become stronger, more powerful, more capable, and have more of a stranglehold over our own psyche. And you can test this for yourself. Since 9/11, what has happened in your life? Observe yourself. What sorts of traumas and difficulties have you faced since that fateful day? What weaknesses have you faced? What demons, if you will, have you faced since that time? whether it's might be addictions or relationship problems or vocational crises. Take stock of your life and realize that the events of 9/11, they didn't just throw a monkey wrench into the geopolitical spectrum for the planet. They threw a monkey wrench in the works of our own psyche. I talked about it briefly in this video. But now it's 9/11/9 to rebuild those two towers within yourself, within ourselves. That's what our opportunity is, to let go of the trauma, to let go of, and there's a lot of trauma. The effects of 9/11 are everywhere. The goal has been for everybody to be taken into this place of despair, into the bottom, right? Everybody's at the bottom. Like, look around you, like, you know, ask your friends, ask your family, look at the situations, the people around you. If you really get to know people and get them to open up to you, you're going to discover that everybody is somewhere deep down in the darkness in their life right now, and they have been on this slow spiral one way or another. They've been dealing with stuff, and the origins of this were on or around 9/11. And this is by design. This is not by accident, but this is the bottom. This is the opportunity. This date, this year, it's time to move on. It's time to rise from the ashes like the phoenix. It's time to rebuild the tree of life inside of you, inside all of us, individually. No one else can do this work for ourselves. And as much as possible, Attlas is going to be here to offer guidance, support, and we will use whatever gifts we have in terms of being able to see things beyond the surface. Whatever blessings we have in terms of being able to speak with the voice of our innermost being, Attlas. This is the first of many videos to come, unveiling those hidden truths and how we can apply them in our lives to make a meaningful change. And insofar as we would like to do this on a regular basis and more often than we have in the past, please, if you will, spend some time and check out our Patreon website. The links are in the description and at the end of this video. We think you'll like what you have to see there, and we are honored and privileged to have the task set before us, a task that, frankly, we've been waiting all of our life to embark upon. And now on this fateful day, down in the bottom, in the darkest dungeons of a trap set into motion 15 years ago, sprung upon all of us, that shocking event that ensnared all of our psyches, all of our consciousness, in one form or another, whether we were ensnared by the supposed truth of the event, or whether our consciousness has been ensnared in the conspiracy of conspiracies ever since. But we're entangled in it. We're down there in the dungeon, deep in the pit, in chains, shackled, doing our best to get by, doing our best to survive. But we are not here to get by and survive. We are here to awaken. We are here to thrive, and we are here to rise above it all, to be the phoenix.
What does that mean?
Rise.